years later.
Sit back, relax, pull up a chair, pop some popcorn because this is going to take a while. Two years ago, when I moved to San Antonio, I was filled with so much excitement and joy. I was ready to embark on this new change. Like, who would have known that these billboards would mean so much more to me years later? Not long after I got settled in San Antonio, did I get the biggest wake-up call of my life. Yes, a 70% increase in my car insurance premiums. The reason behind the increase is because of the large volume of people filing accident claims in Texas. Tim is going to share some more info on this.
There's an article from Kiplinger Personal Finance by Aaron Bendig titled "Car Insurance Rates Have Surged and Where You Live Matters," last updated on August 22nd, 2023. There was an increase of 14% with car insurance rates in 2023. 3% of income or more is being spent on car insurance. Now, the minimum coverage required, it does differ from state to state, but in Texas, you can definitely do liability versus full coverage. Now, I personally do full coverage, and which means I'm already spending a lot. But if you do liability, you do have things such as uninsured motorists to look into, personal injury, whatever is the minimum that's needed. Now, the number of claims or accidents in your area, how many people live there, the traffic density, as well as cost of living will have a huge impact on how much your insurance is going to be going up. For those of you wondering about the statistics of car accidents in San Antonio, we found this blog by Wagner Law Firms that goes over everything. Who better would know about all these accidents than the professionals who handle them? So the total accidents in San Antonio is about 39,819. That's about roughly 109 accidents per day. That is quite a few. And of those, you have 11,504 injuries, 158 fatalities, and out of 100,000 people, you're looking at 2,743 accidents and 11 fatalities. That's all within a population of 1.4 million. Overall, the statistics of injuries of accidents in Texas between 2021 and 2022 are 239,709 versus an increase of 244,092. As you can see, this is why Alyssa's rates went up for 2023.
After some time researching, I was curious to find out how others in San Antonio felt about this topic. I was surprised to find out in my Nextdoor app that there were tons of other people going through the same type of problem. As we all know, we have somewhere to go in a day, whether it's going to the groceries, going to school, or going to work. The one thing that we probably dread the most is getting in a car when it's 110 degrees outside. So when Tim mentioned about getting a UV film for the windshield that would help reduce the heat as well as the UV rays, I was all in and prepared to not have to be tortured by the sun while commuting ever again. Here's a short clip of our vehicles after we had them installed, and they look pretty nice.
Alright, so here's my car. So I do have the UV film over it on the front and the side windows, and it does make a huge difference in here, because for one, you can see outside without any issues whatsoever, and two, it really does help reduce the heat. And there's no bubbles, no nothing. The guy who installed everything did a fantastic job. So yeah, if it were summertime, I would not be dying inside this car. The steering wheel would be not hot. The dash would be in perfect condition. Just nothing bad going on. And of course, my leather seats would not be as hot either. And then for the front windshield, once again, it looks pretty nice, like nothing was ever on there. Kicks back all that heat. Highly recommended. And starting off inside of Alyssa's car, here, once again, we've got no issues whatsoever with the UV. And with the sun hitting, I know it feels very nice. Nothing is super hot. And it's even the dead of summer. You can put your hand here and nothing hurts whatsoever. Steering wheel, same thing. Everything feels nice. Yeah, so there you have it. If you're not wanting to do just regular tint, UV film itself does everything you need to kick back on the heat. It's pretty awesome. Here we have the Texas Department of Public Safety website regarding window tinting standards. Now, if the police think your tint is too dark or goes over the AS1 line, you can get a ticket for a little over $200. You can remove that tint, have the ticket waived, but removing the tint is extra money. So we chose clear UV film for peace of mind and no hassle. So pretty much the bottom line that we're seeing here is that you want your light transmittance value to be 25% or more, or have your reflective value of 25% or less. And pretty much the same thing goes for a rear window. And what we want to see here, it's 25% altogether. Now, if you do have side mirrors, your rear window can be as dark as you want. But if you don't have side mirrors, it's got to follow the front windshield to 25%. And if you do want things darker, you can get a medical exemption. And you can get that from your optometrist. Keep in mind that you will need this exemption in your car at all times because it will be proved to the officer if you ever get pulled over, and it'll be something you'll need to give for your annual inspection. Whatever route you choose, whether it's tint or clear UV film, they both will benefit your health and help you survive the heat.
The one thing that I probably miss the most about Washington State after living here for 2 years is probably the ability to just go out for a run or a hike and not really have to consider how hot it is outside before I do that. Cutting the grass takes a whole new meaning being here. I would always hear people cutting their grass at 10 p.m. just to avoid the heat. While there are some downsides to the heat, there are many positives to the sunshine, especially during October till December. From my own perspective, I don't think the cost of living here is that low. Grocery prices are pretty much the same across the board. If you want to save, using coupons is the best route to go. When it comes to housing, the less desirable neighborhoods are going to cost less. Prices with renting an apartment are not that much different from where I moved from. One big advantage is that you get more square footage for your money. Because of the hot temperature in Texas, a lot of older apartments have pest issues, unlike newly developed areas. It's always best to check Google reviews. Gas prices here really can't be beat. Compared to other states, the gas prices here are pretty low. My biggest gripe here definitely has to do with wages. If you're serious about working in Texas, I would suggest looking on Indeed and do a wage comparison.
The state's top leaders have reached a deal on property tax relief, the biggest property tax cut in Texas history. The $18 billion plan will include $12 billion to lower the school property tax rate. It also increases the homestead exemption to $100,000 for all Texas homeowners.
Home exemptions is one big benefit of living in Texas. Here are 2 houses, for example, that I looked up on Realtor.com. As you can see, the prices are pretty affordable, but when you factor in property tax, the payments on these houses don't seem affordable anymore. When you factor in property taxes, lack of affordable housing, rent increases, car insurance premiums going up, but wages aren't going up as much, you can see why a lot of families are struggling to make ends meet. Now here's one example of a house for $169,000, the price seems pretty decent. But when you look at the property tax that it paid prior year for a little over $5,000, you can just imagine how much the monthly payment would be on this house with the current interest rates. So it's good to have some relief in regards to home exemptions, better than not having anything at all.